For several days now, speculation about Donald Trump's failing health has taken over the internet ever since he appeared with a massive spot on his right hand on Friday while meeting with World Cup officials. And that spot was so bad it looked like it had actually been covered in whiteout instead of actual makeup. And then, for the remainder of the weekend, whenever Donald Trump was on camera, he was seen very intentionally covering up that right hand. But then on Sunday, something else happened. Because on Sunday, Donald Trump went and played golf with Roger Clemens, who he then insisted needs to be in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, yada yada. But his left hand showed the same kind of bruising that is clearly being covered up on his right hand. So, it's not just the right anymore, now it's both hands with significant bruising that, for the record, defies the answer coming from both Donald Trump's White House physician and, of course, Caroline Leavitt. Because Caroline Leavitt was reached for comment about the new bruise on his left hand, and here's what she said. President Trump is a man of the people, and he meets more Americans and shakes their hands on a daily basis than any other president in history. His commitment is unwavering, and he proves that every single day. It's worth noting that this horrible wretch of a human being said this on her birthday. So happy belated birthday to the demon, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. But anyway, that makes no sense. And remember when we got Donald Trump's health record, a couple months ago, his physician, Navy Captain Sean Barbarella, said that his bruising is consistent with minor soft tissue irritation from frequent handshaking and the use of aspirin, which is taken as part of a standard cardiovascular prevention regimen. Even on a baby aspirin regimen, it's not going to cause bruising like that from mild irritation. And that doesn't explain the left hand. Donald Trump is right-handed. He only shakes people's hands with his right hand. And by the way, if he is so frail and fragile that shaking a couple hands leaves him with a big old bruise, then he's too frail to be president of the United States. Right? If you can't handle shaking hands, which again, he's not even doing every day like they claim, but if he can't handle that, if his body's like, oh, shaking hands, I can't do this anymore, then yeah, not a guy that's in good health. But none of that explains the left hand, because Donald Trump only shakes with his right. So Caroline Leavitt's explanation as to why is there a bruise on his left hand, well, he's shaking people's hands. No, he's not. He does not shake hands with his left hand. So your explanation, both Caroline Leavitt's and the doctors, total BS. We can immediately write off whatever they tell us about his health because they are obviously lying. But who do we rely on now, right? That's the big question. And if you've been on social media over these last few days, if you've been on TikTok or, Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, you've probably come across videos from medical professionals, cardiologists, MDs, and of course even nurse practitioners telling us what they think could be happening to Trump. And while none of these people have obviously seen their charts, they're, experts in their field. Sure, they see things like this every day, so they can only make assumptions. But what a lot of them have said in videos that I've seen, including from cardiologists, they believe it's congestive heart failure, which, just in case anybody is not fully familiar with congestive heart failure, that is not a death sentence. It's not even necessarily a permanent condition. Congestive heart failure just means that your heart is not able to properly circulate blood throughout your body. And it is something that can be fixed. It can be fixed with, diet and exercise, lifestyle changes, things like that. And you can get back probably not to 100% of where you were, because it does, it's not something you bounce 100% back from, but you can absolutely bounce back from it. And I know that because my own father is currently in congestive heart failure, has been actually for a couple months now, but he's been through this multiple times, within the last 5-6 years. So there are ways to overcome this. There are ways to get through this. It does not mean that you've got one foot in the grave. But the reason these doctors and medical professionals are telling us they think it's congestive heart failure is because every symptom that he is exhibiting, including those from obvious medication, would indicate somebody is in congestive heart failure. Let me read you a few of these. Congestive heart failure occurs when the heart can't pump enough blood to meet the body's needs, leading to a buildup of fluid in the lungs and body tissues. Common symptoms include shortness of breath, which we see every time Donald Trump speaks, because sometimes he will be taking these labored breaths. Even when he's not speaking and you see him on camera, he's trying so hard to breathe that his whole body moves. That is something experts have pointed out in recent footage. You could see it, by the way, in the footage of him from Friday, meeting with the World Cup officials, where he looked like death. He was as white as a ghost, which of course is another indication that you're not getting proper blood flow. His face was droopy, saggy, all indicators of not getting blood flowing. And he was slow because the next symptom, of course, is fatigue. Sounds about right. Very low energy. And then another symptom is swelling in the legs and ankles. Another symptom, by the way, is confusion. Another symptom is dizziness, which of course would explain why when he rolled out the red carpet for Putin, he wasn't even able to walk in a straight line. He's all over the place. Every single major symptom of congestive heart failure, Trump has shown us in the last 3 weeks. Every one of them. Like, there's no exception. And of course, the bruising would be indicative of blood thinners, which would be used to make sure that you don't have any buildup or blockages so that blood can flow properly. And that explains the bruising. So every single thing that Trump has can be explained with a very common medical condition for people in his age group with his lifestyle and by the medications that those people would be on. None of it is explained by, oh, he shakes a lot of hands and he's got very fragile hands. Nope, that doesn't fit. What does fit is congestive heart failure and blood thinners. So if that's the case, then the White House is clearly covering up a very significant health issue that Donald Trump appears to be suffering from. If not, then maybe the people who do this for a living, all of them are completely wrong. I don't know. Whose word are you going to take on this? Caroline Leavitt? Or the people who spent years going through college, then medical school, then residency, then all of that to finally become practitioners? I got to tell you, I think I'm going to err on the side of safety and not believe Caroline Leavitt and instead go with the medical professionals on this one. With the ever-changing world of politics, I have to be sharp, focused, and of course on top of my game, not just to keep up with the news, but to also keep up with everyone else in this very crowded industry. And sometimes maintaining my focus can be difficult when things get a little overwhelming, and that's why I've partnered with Brain FM. Brain FM has task-specific focus modes like deep work, creative, and motivation to meet your exact needs. There's also ADHD mode specifically made for ADHD brains. Brain FM is the only music company supported by a National Science Foundation grant award to improve people's focus. Brain FM recently published a study in the Nature journal Communications Biology showing that their patented music technology increases activity in attentional networks, doubles neural synchrony at brainwave frequencies associated with focus, and improves attentional task performance in people with ADHD symptomatology. Brain FM's mission is to help people around the world with a simple and accessible tool that supports focus, especially for those who need it the most. Unlock your brain's full potential free for 30 days by going to brain.fm/Farron. That's brain.fm/Farron for 30 days free.